doubt that all your machineries are already in motion, camera are properly set, and they are already on teething. So we have no doubt that all of us are ready for this event. So thank you very much, and in another couple of minutes, we will set the ball rolling. My name is Ayewa Iraole Felix, the Publicity Secretary of the All Progressive Congress in Edo State, and to be precise, Owan East Local Government Area of Edo State in Edo Non-Senatorial District. So I welcome you all to this rarefied occasion. You are welcome, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you. While we venerate the incorrigibility status of our amiable convener, Prince John Mayaki, the Africa Shakespeare, as is fondly called by his teamy admirers, we will swiftly take a run-through of all of us who considered it worthwhile to be here this morning. And there is no special order for that introductory segment of the program. However, we want to quickly introduce the MD CEO of Afford Conferences Limited, who doubles as a guest speaker in this program, Mr. Frederick Apeji. A round of applause for him. Whatever is good for the goose, the cliche says is not bad for the gander. If we call on anybody, please, we crave your indulgence to sacrifice your round of applause so that by the time we introduce you as well, to whom much is given, much will be expected. Thank you very much. That will take us into Mr. Emmanuel Iriobe. You see here, a round of applause for him. He's a chieftain and a critical stakeholder from Edo State. And we want to say your presence is appreciated. We also have Dr. Sylvester A. Omonze. If it resembles your name, you know it's you I'm talking to. Thanks for coming, Dr. Sylvester. We also have a nationwide celebrated journalist of no mean reputation, and a journalist that we have no doubt that his name will merit a very prominent place when the Nigeria community of journalists will sit down to write their feelings. That personality is no other than the pen pusher, Mr. Henry Umoru. He's still in the morning attire of the Pan-Africa leader who has gone beyond, our great father, Ike Clark. May so rest in peace. Thank you, Mr. Henry Umoru. We also have Benga Omohunu in that caliber. We want to say you are welcome. We also have my friend, we have met at the National Assembly, and when immediately I saw him, I knew that he's a familiar face at the Information Department in charge of accreditation for journalists, who covers activities in the National Assembly, Mr. Tony Akowe. A round of applause for him. We want to say you are welcome. We also have Bolanle Ola Bidan. Am I pronouncing his or her name appropriately? I want to say you are welcome. We appreciate you to this event. We have Mr. Eric Ikilare. A round of applause for him too. We thank you for coming. We have a journalist again from the Channels Television, and his name is OKPEBHOLO Friday. Is he here, please? Is the person here? Oh, okay, Mr. Friday of the Channels Television. Yours sincerely is recognizing your quintessential presence in this occasion. We have Sheena Oladele, also of the Channels Television. We want to say you are welcome. While we further crave your indulgence, that will be starting properly, we want to say you are insulated, you are fortified against anything. Whatever you want, do us a favor, beckon on us. Our own is to serve you, and anything that is worth doing at all, we are told, must be done well. So we are to serve you and honor you as our distinguished guests, and particularly members of the press. We want to say you are welcome. So quickly, we are coming to go into the program. Once again, thank you. And we are going to be very indiscriminate. If we have not introduced you, we will further take your detail and do what is needful, or rather needed, in this exercise. So, thank you for your patience, and sooner than you expected, we'll hit the ground running. And this program that is organized by Prince John Mayaki is in tandem with the reality in Edo State. This program does not negate the reality in Edo State. It is in tandem, it is in harmony with what you have on ground in Edo State. And you know that Prince John Mayaki is a man who preaches the Bible the way the saintly Paul wrote it. He neither add nor does he deduct from it. So whatever he's putting together under the Coalition for Good Governance and Economic Justice in Africa, it truly represents the reality in Edo State. And Edo people are truly happy that indeed Daniel has come to judgment. Thank you very much, and God bless you once again. All right, thank you very much. Accuracy, we are told, is the function of carefulness. And as a media practitioner, if you must report, you must embrace accuracy and objectivity. That is the epicenter of the profession. And we are always, or rather, our duty is to report and report very accurately. And where anonymity beckons on us, we also do respect that. And where it is convenient for us to reference our authority or source, we also do not suffer doing that gladly. And we are told from our sources that the search for a credible, fit, and sufficiently exposed replacement for Ovia Northeast, where the deputy governor of Edo State migrated from side by side with his team to the government house, is no longer under contention. I am not the one saying it. I am reporting what the people of Ovia, especially the ones who are sufficiently informed, have said, that they are no longer searching apart from the personality of a man who they know and who knows them sufficiently, who has served as the APC chairman of the local government and is still serving. And because of his credible performance, his dexterity, managerial grit, and showmanship, they have considered it worth their while to send him to Abuja, and he is among the leading aspirants for Ovia Northeast House of Rep race. That eminent, credible, rarefied, uncommon personality is no other than Honorable Oscar Aredo. Is here in our midst. A round of applause for him. I am not campaigning for him. I'm only reflecting what the people of Edo State, particularly your federal constituency, have said. Our own is to report events and not to be part of the news. And that's our even elementary part of journalism. So thank you very much, Honorable Oscar Aredo. We also have our friend, great, this handwriting looks like that of medical doctors. So is it great Abu MK or MRO? MK. And he is also an illustrious son of Edo State, a cosmopolitan personality who has traveled far and wide. He's also here as a critical stakeholder in the matters bordering on the development of Edo State. Great Abu, yours sincerely, is saying you are truly welcome to this occasion. And we will continue to bring before us dignitaries who said they must be here to honor Edo's people, to honor Edo State, to honor Edo governor, and to honor the Coalition for Good Governance and Economic Justice in Africa, so pretended by the media pundit, a communication maestro, a historian, a diplomat, Prince John Mayake from the rocky hills of, or rather from the rocky city of Akoko Edo. Akoko Edo symbolizes rocks and other raw materials as far as Edo State is concerned. When you talk about the Ministry of Mining, all our hearts and eyes is centered on Akoko Edo, and for a man from that area to be doing excellently well and not inhibited by the rocks is worth celebrating. Prince John Mayake, yours sincerely once again, is appreciating your contribution as a concerned citizen, not just only in Edo State, but the entire Federal Republic of Nigeria. All right. Distinguished Honorable Oscar Aredo, give us that privilege to come to the high table. That is, thank you very much, Honorable Oscar Aredo. Those who do not even know you, do more publicity for you. Please, here is for you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And swiftly also, we quickly want to invite Mr. Frederick Apeji also to the high table. He is also a guest speaker in this occasion. Mr. Frederick, thank you very much for the opportunity given us. And that we all right. Tribune is as old as the Nigeria state, and the bureau chief of Tribune, who is here, is also diligently invited to the high table. Please, Tribune bureau chief to the high table. Okay. To the high table. Thank you very much. And now we want to go into the program properly. And we will quickly call on Mr. Debri Coker. Okay, all right, Mrs. Debri Coker, the editor from News Agency of Nigeria, NAN, is also to come to the high table. Mrs. Coker to the high table. And that will take us into the program very quickly. And I've gotten the express permission of the convener to hit the ground running, if not head on. We will have introduce our distinguished guests very sufficiently and appreciably. We quickly want to now say the opening prayer. And the person who is going to do that is no other than the man I earlier introduced to us, Mr. Emmanuel Iriogbe, is to give us the opening prayer for this ceremony. Yes, sir. No, you will come forward. Gentlemen and ladies, we have started. We have started. Thank you very much, Mr. Iriogbe.
Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Our Lord, our Father, we come before you in total submission to your will for our lives today. You know why we are gathered here? It's to celebrate a great man that is performing wonders. Under 100 days, or in 100 days in our dear Edo State. May this program bring fruitfulness to our lives and to our dear state in the name of Jesus. We shall succeed in our everything we decide to do here. And we shall go back rejoicing. In Jesus' name, I pray.
A round of applause for the Jesus Christ of Nazareth, the God with whom impossibility is nothing. That will usher us into the national anthem, the musical set. Are you available for us for the national anthem? Please put your gadgets in order so that we can observe the national anthem, which we will quickly again call on Mr. Frederick Apeji to lead us on the national anthem. Thank you very much.
Please, let's be on our feet as we take the national anthem. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear motherland. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Frederick Apeji. And we have earlier introduced our distinguished guests who are here, which is the item number 5 of the agenda for the day. And we now want to entertain the welcome remarks by the convener of no mean reputation, a worksmith, a man whose achievements so far has paid heed to the generation yet unborn, a historian, a man you cannot avoid liking, is already metamorphosing into an enigma, if not already an institution, or fast-growing journalist to learn from. And we are most fortunate that he is an Edo State extract, particularly from Edo North, where I also came from. He was the former Chief Press Secretary to Akoko Edo local government. He actually learned the rope as well as on the job, if not on the go. From there, he also served at state level as Chief Press Secretary to the state governor, having served earlier as media advisor to the governor before Obaseki, Comrade Adam Saliu Oshomole. That rarefied personality is also the convener of the Coalition for Good Governance and Economic Justice in Africa. He is no other person than Prince John Mayaki. A round of applause for him. He is to give the welcome address of this event. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so very much, the organizers of this program, want to sincerely welcome our colleagues here this morning for this program. This event is organized by the Coalition for Good Governance and Economic Justice in Africa. We've been organizing programs in this manner. About 8 years ago, the coalition organized something of this nature in Lagos for Governor Gordon Obaseki, just the former governor of Edo State, whom I serve as his chief press secretary. Under the country director of Mr. Jude Gadimo, it was held in Lagos, tracking Obaseki's 100 days in office. Today, we are honored to organize another for the present governor of Edo State, who is just 100 days today in office. We want to see what he has done for the past 100 days. We have seen tangible things and intangible things that he has done. When I mean tangible things, we're talking of the Ramat Park flyover. We're talking of what you can see, projects you can see, infrastructure. When we talk of tangibles, we're talking of the road construction that is ongoing. We're talking about the security infrastructure, the vehicles. I'm not talking about dead Siennas. I'm talking about new Helios vehicles, durable, rugged vehicles that can challenge, that can stand the challenge of security. When I talk about tangible, about the present administration of Governor Monday OKPEBHOLO, I'm talking about his schools being constructed. I'm talking about things that he has done that is impacting positively and directly on the lives of the people. I can go on and on and on and mention what he has done in terms of tangibles, infrastructures. I've mentioned the Ramat Park flyover, I've mentioned schools, I've mentioned roads, I've mentioned some tangibles, and go to intangibles. You talk about policies, you talk about programs, you talk about bills that has impacted on the lives of the people. You don't see them, but they impact on the lives of the people, both socially, both economically, and all around. They affect the lives of the people. Take, for instance, when the governor announced that every exploitative taxes in the markets and market unions have been banned. That alone has helped the market woman, even the ordinary man, economically, because the prices of food in the market crashed. Because with these unions, the prices were actually very high. And so that alone are intangibles, but you feel the impact in your pocket. Why not go to the area of security? You may not see structures being built, although vehicles are being bought, new Helios vehicles, 75 of them. You have 1,000 motorcycles being bought to assist in that regard. Like I was speaking about the tangibles, you have 100 vehicles to revive the Edo line, moribund Edo line. Those are tangibles you are seeing. And again, I go back to the intangibles. When you see the governor announcing that courtism in Edo State was not going to be allowed again, and if you are caught, your house will be demolished, where you see intangibles like announcing that kidnappers, if you are caught kidnapping, the property will be destroyed, and when you see government passing bills that say it is death penalty for any criminality, any courtism activity, you see the impact directly affecting the security of the state. People are being saved. Last year, December, people celebrated the most safest Yuletide so far in Edo State under the present government. Now, I speak of intangibles again. You have a governor who set up his cabinet in the past 3 months. He set up a cabinet that other governors for the past, the governor I worked with couldn't set up his cabinet for 9 months in office. If you do your Google search, if you do your fact checking, you will find out that Governor Obaseki couldn't set up his own cabinet within 9 months. You can fact check me before we leave. I wish somebody would tell me there that, oh, that is not correct. Fact check me. 9 months, he couldn't do that. But Here is a man who has set up his cabinet. Last week, 2 weeks ago, you had the governor having his executive council meeting, first executive council meeting, within 3 months in office. I think that is quite applaudable and commendable. So when we talk about tracking OKPEBHOLO's achievement in office, I have done a magazine. I've sent it to all of you. Go through and you will see over 100 achievements, of tangibles and intangible achievements in office. Now, I've distinguished between tangible and intangible. I have said there are policies that you may not see. They are not structures, but they are policies that directly affect the lives of the people. Go to, in terms of budget for agriculture, the governor has empowered farmers. In fact, he has approved the sum of 1.6 billion for agriculture. In fact, his budget for agriculture is about 70 billion naira. I'm sure that will be competing with states like Niger State, Nasarawa State, and other Yobe State, states that are ready to feed the nation. Edo is part of that league. That is in terms of going back to the farm. Agriculture. The governor is very meticulous about it. When you come to the area of health, if you check the budget for health, that's about 64 billion naira again. It shows the seriousness of the governor when it comes to health. Education is another major area that the governor is focusing on. While you talk of infrastructure, it's another area. For me, my take home is this. If the governor can solve 2 things, let me say 3: security, infrastructure, and food security. I think that's all for me. You see, when you cure poverty, when you cure hunger, you've achieved a lot in the lives of the people, and the governor is in that trajectory. Just in 100 days, he's renovating 100 schools for 100 days, 100 vehicles to revive Edo Line in 100 days. A lot of pass mark for the governor. In just a short time, a lot has been achieved. And I think it is worth discussing. It is worth calling our colleagues. It is worth calling the press. It is worth calling policy analysts. It's worth calling every well-meaning individuals of Edo State to say, come, let's discuss this man. Mind you, I wished him off during the campaigns. I must say this. I didn't see him as somebody who can move us forward. I didn't support the governor for the election. But when I saw the budget for agric, I'm a farmer. When I saw the budget for agric, I told myself, if this man can feed Edo people and feed the South and feed Nigeria with this budget, check the past budget. It took it from 5.6 or 5.9 billion to 70 billion. Go to AAU. AAU has a subvention of 41 million monthly. The governor has increased it to 500 million. Intangible achievements, but tangible. Intangible achievement, but very impactful. This is what drew me to say, no, I must begin to look at how to support a man who is ready to take Edo State to the next level. In fact, I want to agree with the governor that a new Edo has risen. Thank you so very much, my brothers. Thank you so very much, colleagues, for listening to this welcome address. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. That was a resounding one and a meticulous one. He took us through the trajectory of development that is currently taking place in our dear state, Edo. Thank you for your audience. We will now hear from our guest speaker that we have here with us, and a very resourceful and well-read. He is a panoramic scholar when it comes to management, public speaking, history, as well as in politics. Is no other person than the man I earlier introduced to us. He's a critical stakeholder in Edo State. His name is Mr. Fred Apeji. Thank you very much. A round of applause for him.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. I truly appreciate it. I want to crave the indulgence of the convener and the rest of the high table. I would not mind if I can actually be on my feet as I speak. When I sit down to speak, you know, the kind of skeletons and the fright that comes in when I sit down to speak, I'm not able to manage it. But when I stand up to speak, suddenly the fright disappears. You know, everybody has their own, God has wired all of us in different areas. You know, you see little children as they are growing up. What we make child A to be frightened, we make child B to be emboldened. Again, when you look at the opposite, the child that was very bold in a particular area is one that will suddenly be frightful in another area. So usually when I have the privilege of speaking at public functions like this, I always, as much as possible, so long as it is polite, I want to stand up as I speak rather than sit down. Because when I stand up to speak, I'm able to usually speak better and, you know, express myself better. I'm going to talk about the issue of internally generated revenue in Edo State. But before I do so, a little background introduction. When Prince John Mayaki told me about this program, the first thing that came to my mind, he also alluded to it now. I said, but John, you didn't support the governor. How come you are coming to support the governor now? So he now said, well, he didn't support the governor for his own personal reasons, and that in any case, he has always been a part of the APC family, all of his career in government and all of that, but that he felt, look, in the state, we should, as much as possible, look for who is our best hand, who is our best candidate, and bring the person out and support the person to come out and all of that. Well, I took that from him and I said, I'm not just coming because you have invited me. I am coming because I have something that is burning in my heart that I would want to share in a forum like this. And that is all about what Edo State government is. What Edo State is when it comes to internally generated revenue in this country, and what I have seen in the space of 3 months that the new administration has come on board. Let me take you down memory lane. In 2009, when the second administration of President Muhammadu Buhari was taken over, the vice president, usually, the governors of the country will congregate, and then the vice president will host them, basically to share with them what the tone of the federal government is and how they can escalate it in their own respective domains and all of that. And in that fora, 2019 was about 6 years ago. In that fora, I remember the vice president saying to these governors that back in the First Republic, there were two things that grew the economy of the regions: agriculture and taxation. And that the way things were going, the federal allocations were not meeting the expectations of state government as much as they used to be. And that there was a need, a deliberate need for the state governors, for the state administrations to chart a new path as far as internally generated revenue is concerned. And I can tell you from the records, because we keep records, my company is called Alford Conferences Limited. We organize events. And one of such events that we organize is called Nigerian States IGR Awards. It's a very simple event. We simply beam the searchlight annually on the performance of the 36 states and the FCT in the area of IGR. And then we use that as the criteria to then rank the 36 states and the FCT, basically the 37 subnationals. And then we honor them in various ways. And we have held that event every year since 2020. This year, God willing, towards the ending of the year, usually in the fourth quarter, we'll be doing the 6th edition of the event. Just hosting that event every year in the last 5 years has opened our eyes to the state of the 37 subnationals of this country. You will see some states that have traditionally done excellently and are continuing to do so. You see some other states that used to do poorly that have, turned a new leaf, turned things around in their respective domains, and they are beginning to, perform well. And then you see some other states that are basically just laggards. But like I said, I want to focus on Edo State today. From 2008, that the government of Comrade Adams Oshomole came on board, Edo State has always ranked among the top 10 states in Nigeria in internally generated revenue. I am speaking from data published annually by the National Bureau of Statistics. Where does the National Bureau of Statistics get this data from? It gets it from the Joint Tax Board. As we all know, the Joint Tax Board comprises the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Internal Revenue Service of the 37 subnationals of Nigeria. Those are the people that make up the Joint Tax Board. So their data every year, they submit it to National Bureau of Statistics, who in turn puts it together in a report format. And that report has been published every year in the last 2-3 decades now. So it is that report that we rely on. So these points and these insights that I'm sharing, they are based on those reports. They are based on facts. When you look at Edo State, I'm taking it from the time of the former governor, Adams Oshomole, because government is a continuum. It doesn't matter whether the government in place currently is on the platform of the APC or on the platform of the PDP. It is still the same government that they are going to be administering. It is still the same Edo State that they are going to be administering. So I'm taking it from there. And the records that we have, year in, year out, from that 2008, Edo State has always ranked among the top 10. That is a significant achievement. If you look at the profile of all the 36 states and the FCT, and if you beam your searchlight closer home to the 6 states of the South-South, that is even more impressive. Because you will notice at a quick glance that among the 6 states of the South-South, Edo State and Cross River State, they are the, what should I call it? Please, somebody borrow me a word. They are the wretched cousins, they are the cousins that are not very endowed. In terms of the 13% derivation that goes to the states of the Niger Delta, there are 9 of those states, 6 of them in the South-South. Those are the 6 states I want to focus on. If you look at those 6 states, the real states that take the huge chunk of the 30% derivation are 4. River State, Delta State, Akwa Ibom State, and Bayelsa. Edo State, Cross River State, little or nothing. So if you beam your searchlight closer home to the South-South zone of Nigeria, and you look at how Edo State performs on the IGR front, it is kudos to the state. I am not here to praise His Excellency, Governor Monday OKPEBHOLO, necessarily. But I'm here to say what I have observed over the years about IGR in Edo State. The state has always done excellently well. But the thing that excited me in the past few months that he has taken over the leadership of the state is in this same subject of IGR. In the last 3 months, as at the time he took office, the executive chairman of the Edo State Internal Revenue Service was on his way out. So there was a vacancy for a new executive chairman. He appointed a new executive chairman the following month in December in the person of Honorable Oladele Bankole Balogun, who has since taken over as the substantive chairman of that revenue agency. And then what did the new chairman meet on the ground? On average, on a monthly basis, Edo State was generating 6.4 billion naira per month. But when he took over in December, and the challenge, the target that is set for themselves was that we will raise the figure from 6.4 billion to 10 billion. When I read it, I said, wow, Edo State is not doing badly, even at 6.4 billion on a monthly basis. Let me show you a little, at this point, let me show you the records of 2023. Those are the most recent records that I have. The results for 2024 are not yet available. Otherwise, I will also be sharing them. But this is it. In 2023, this is what we have. Lagos State did 815 billion in 2023 in terms of IGR. I'll just round up the figures. The second highest state was FCT that generated 211 billion. Number 3 was Rivers State with 195 billion. Number 4, Ogun State with 146 billion. Number 5, Delta State with 114 billion. Number 6, our own dear Edo State with 64 billion. The remaining states that make up the top 10 were Kaduna, Kwara, Oyo, and Akwa Ibom, in that order. Now, if Edo State is targeting 10 billion per month, work out the arithmetic in 10 months, 120 billion. This will be about 100% increase from what they did in 2023. Now, if you take a look at another data, how does Edo State rank amongst the states of the South-South zone? I've already mentioned Rivers with 193 billion. I've mentioned Delta with 114 billion. Edo State comes next in the South-South zone. While these figures might not impress you, what might probably open your eye is the fact that the typical states in Nigeria today that are at the back end of the ranking list, some of them will be doing figures like 10 billion naira for the entire year. I shared with you the figures of the top 10 states. Let me share with you the figures of the last 10 states in 2023. The bottom states in 2023. For instance, if you look at Kebbi State, they did 11 billion in 2023. If you look at a state like Taraba, they did 10 billion in 2023. Yobe did 11 billion in 2023 for the entire year. But as we are today, on February 4th, a news release was published from the Edo State Internal Revenue Service saying that the state had achieved and surpassed 10 billion naira in IGR in January. It was that news that made me to call the office of the executive chairman of Edo State Internal Revenue Service. I couldn't reach out to him directly, but I spoke to the head of corporate affairs there. And I said, tell me more about this. And then he said, these are some of the things we have put in place. We've tightened the rope. We have ensured that there are tax heads that weren't being collected before. We are in the process of beginning to officially migrate them and bring them to our tax books and all of that. And in a nutshell, the state was able to record that performance. Why is this a big deal? It's a big deal because the Nigeria that we have today, the federal allocation can't carry any state. Any state that does not put on its own thinking cap and how it can significantly raise its IGR, that state will not survive much. And like I've told you, when you look at the South-South, the states that eat the fat when it comes to the 13% derivation are those 4 states. Edo is not among them. So for Edo State to be ranking like this is plenty of kudos. And for Edo State that within the last 3 months has turned things around in its IGR is plenty of kudos to the new administration. I am not speaking as one of his lieutenants, as one of his media aides, no. I'm speaking as an independent observer. This is what I've seen, especially an independent observer that is highly interested in this subject of IGR among the 37 subnationals of Nigeria. This is what I've seen. And as I've attended this 100 days celebration of the governor today, my heart is filled with excitement because I'm from Edo State too. So emotionally, I mean, you know the way it is when you're in Europe and then somebody is saying something credible and positive about Nigeria. You know the way you feel. That's also how I feel. I'm like, wow, my state is on the run, man. My state is on the double. My state is making important and radical changes that will take us further, you know, and all of that. That is the reason why I've come to make this presentation today. My message to the new administration is to sustain this tempo. Whatever you set your heart to. In Nigeria today, the typical Nigerian state governor can accomplish so much in the space of four years. Because there are a lot of things that don't work in Nigeria. I've talked about IGR today as a subject of my presentation. The typical Nigerian state that puts on his thinking cap, we double his IGR in 1 year. We triple his IGR in 1 year. Because there is so much corruption in the system, there is so much inefficiencies in the system, that if only the typical state governor is bold, courageous, and determined, and has a clear head about what he wants to do, he will increase his IGR in incredible percentages. That's the message that I present to the governor and the administration of Edo State today. Stick to these plans that you have put in place in your Internal Revenue Service agency and ensure that you make it even better and better. It will only be for the benefit of the state. Typically, you look at the budget of a state in Nigeria, the money comes from 3 sources. The biggest being federal allocation, and then your internal generation, and the rest of the internally generated revenue, and the rest of its debts, whether domestic debts or foreign debts. Those are usually the 3 major components of the budget, of the revenue side of the budget of a typical Nigerian state. But the debt side of it is not too healthy, because if you don't pay back, it will remain there. The succeeding government will take it over. It becomes a burden on the state. But the one that is really, really key is IGR. That's the one that you have generated by yourself. That's the one that stays with you. It's your own money. It's not debt. It's not basic. If you look at Lagos State today, Lagos is the only state that rivals the federal government. Sometimes the Federal Inland Revenue Service will send its officials to go and benchmark Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. Can you imagine Abuja, Aso Rock, going to a state government house to go and benchmark on anything? But that's what the Federal Inland Revenue Service does. That's to tell you the power of Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. They set the pace, not just for other states of the country, but even for the Federal Revenue Agency. What I'm saying is a fact. If you Google it, you see it. Many a times,